So now, Brian, let's go through the process on the Wibbit.net's background.
Virtual console.
On compiling and executing HeyBuddy.java.
Okay, so first off, we'll list all of our Java files.
Why not?
Which is HeyBuddy.java.
Hey, buddy!
Then after that, we're going to say Java compile, Java C,
Yeah?
and we're going to compile our HeyBuddy Java file.
Now notice, Brian, unlike the GCC, which is really all that we've been exposed to at this point, unlike that, we're not specifying an output file. Very fascinating.
Yeah, because there's always going to be a one-to-one correlation between the bytecode and the Java file it came from. It's going to just have the class.
Boom!
There it is. HeyBuddy.class.
Yeah, and as you can see, it's almost 4 times as big as a source code file.
Yeah.
Nice. So now, Brian, now that we have successfully compiled the program, we can execute it against the Java interpreter by saying Java and then the name of the class without saying .class.
Right.
It's kind of a dumb little thing, but you just don't say, you say the name, no .class. If you say .class, it'll bitch at you.
It's clean.
Yeah.
So what happens? Let's kick it off. Ready?
Hey, buddy! Nice. Very nice.
All right. So we're going to trash talk Java because it's fun.
Yeah.
But don't misunderstand it. We love Java. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's an amazing language. It was a genius idea.
Mm-hmm.
It was leaps and bounds forward. It really pushed the industry. It gives you so much power. But we do hold a grudge against the language. It's not Java's fault.
Not really, no.
We were exposed to it in a weird way.
Yeah.
While we were in school.
We were traumatized by Java.
Yeah. We went from learning C++ to learning Java midstream in school. And
they changed the curriculum like the next day.
Right.
Oh yeah, by the way.
Which was funny because the teachers didn't know the language, nor did they really have any interest in learning it.
Oh, it was horrible.
Yeah.
Terrible.
So the students are telling the teachers like, "Hey, this just type." And they're like, "I got this. I got it."
Now we turn to page 75.
Right.
Yeah.
It looks like, why is it in a class? Why is main in a class? I don't. But the problem is when you're starting out and you're just learning just the idea, now that you've kind of gone through the intro and the object-oriented C++, Objective-C, whatever, now you've gone through the other courses, it's kind of a no-brainer. But if you're just starting out,
Yep.
and you're seeing that public static void main inside of a class that we call whatever we want, how do you get your brain around that idea?
Right.
Like, coming in cold, you've never programmed before, and how do you understand that like there's a class level method on the print stream object called out in the system class called printline that we're going to execute against? Like, you don't even know what a string is. You don't even know what an int is.
Yeah.
For sake. How are you going to just cold cock and jump into that? Like,
Yeah.
you can't do it, you know? You're going to be floppy.
Yep.
So it's not a good idea. So because of that, you get a lot of people who don't really understand the language that write in it, and they just kind of
Oh my God, you are so right when
they
you
just
say
sort
that.
of do things that kind of emulate other things that they see happen, and they don't really understand why. It's unfortunate. And because Java is so forgiving, kind of, I mean, because of the nature of how it's in the virtual machine and how the object structure is really kind of wonderful, in C and C++, a really good developer can write really good software, and a really bad developer can be very dangerous.
Absolutely, yep.
In Java, a really good programmer can make some kind of cool stuff, and a really bad programmer is not that dangerous.
Right.
So that normalizing factor kind of doesn't let some people shine in certain circumstances, but
It also doesn't let other people fail.
Right.
But it,
So that's an advantage
coddles.
and it's a disadvantage.
Right.
So it's worth really learning the language if you're going to do it, know what you're doing and do it well.
I think that Brian made a great point that some of the sloppiest code I've ever read in my life came from a Java program, and I think it is because a lot of educational institutions try to start would-be programmers in Java with no context.
Right.
So what they've done is they have like some text document that has like 50 methods in it that they know works, and they can just copy into this, copy into here, and like a lot of times it's not relevant, and like the weird things they have to do to like make it work in the context of that program is often very horrible.
Right. So really, we don't hate Java, but we also don't hate John Bon Jovi. We just hate his fans.
Yeah.
And I'll say this in our defense. Visual Basic is kind of like John Bon Jovi. So you don't necessarily hate Bon Jovi, but you really hate his fans. You know? So we kind of hate Visual Basic for that reason. You know, I mean, the guy's going out in a blaze of glory. It's not his fault, but you hate his fans, so you kind of in turn don't really like him. You know, it's just kind of how it goes.
Not as bad. as Visual Basic, we still treat Java with a lot of respect.
Yes.
I want to say that clearly. And it's not the language's fault that there's a lot of bad programmers. It's the fact that educational institutions have failed those students considerably is why there's lots of bad Java programmers. So it's our duty to get you guys off on the right foot, get you guys in the field with as much history as possible so that when you get a job that makes you write in Java all day long, you know where this came from, why it exists, and how you can be the best programmer possible.
Right. And also, the reason we did the Intro, C, Object-Oriented, and C++, really, the main reason we did those is to help you learn Java.
Yeah,
I
right.
mean, that was our motivation.
Yep.
We know not that many people are going to have that many uses of just jumping into C and writing in C.
Absolutely.
But knowing C is invaluable.
Right.
So,
Absolutely.
we strongly encourage you to go back and view those courses.
So that's it.
I hope you're excited. It's well worth learning the language. It's a very cool language. And you're really going to get your mind blown on how they pulled off this pure object-oriented language environment. So, stay tuned.
I'm excited.
You're going to like it.
I'm excited. I'm sweating, Brian.